Welcome to Americana Archives. Travel back in time with us as we go throughout America's historic newspapers to find the lost and forgotten history of America. Today's story comes from the great state of Montana, being reported in the Daily Independent of Helena of August 30th, 1896. Today we have a story entitled The Story of a Dog. The subtitle is The Animal Was an Outcast, very much like his master in social standing. Both of them had good qualities, and the aristocratic lads and pedigreed dogs had to take a back seat. It says, a boy in Winnipeg, the capital city of the province of Manitoba in northwestern Canada, who doesn't own a dog, is looked upon by his fellows with suspicion. And a boy who owns a dog above the size of a pug of a fox terrier and doesn't train him to go, as it is called, in a sleigh in the winter and a small sulky in the summer, is considered as being little better than a girl. Like the game of lacrosse, the dog driving has come to Canadian boys from the Indians. In other days, before the settlement of the western prairies of Canada, winter travel from Lake Superior to the Rocky Mountains and from Minnesota to the Arctic Ocean was carried on by means of dogs. Even today, in the western parts of the Canadian West, the dog train is the regular conveyance of mails and travelers by the Hudson Bay Company and the fur traders of the North. Dog driving then comes naturally to the boys of Winnipeg, where 25 years ago a winter journey with horses was comparatively unusual. And it came particularly natural to little Touch Tupper, newsboy and general roustabout. For Touch loved dogs, and a boy who didn't love a dog very seldom amounted to much as a dog trainer. Touch's parents had died and left him at 10 years of age to run the race of life alone. Having no kith or kin of his own to lavish any affection upon, and being human and accordingly finding it necessary to have an outlet for his affections, he became devoted to a dog. And such a dog. It was an ugly, ill-conditioned looking dog, everybody said. But that didn't make any difference to Touch. He had found it as he crouched one blizzardy night in the doorway of the post office at the outset of his newsboy life, when he was in need of sympathy as much as the little pup that crawled up to him and licked his hand. "We're traveling in hard luck tonight, puppy," said Touch, as he snuggled the shivering little thing under his coat. "This blizzard chased the people from the streets, and I'm stuck with my papers, and you're nearly froze to death. Well, misery likes company, so come on." And Blizzard, as he there and then christened him, shared Touch's corner in the half-breed shack and the ups and downs of a street Arab's life until he grew to doghood. As neither Blizzard or Touch made any pretenses to pedigree, there was a fellow feeling between them. They were both vagabonds, and when Touch requested Blizzard to go in a sleigh at a very early stage of his career, he didn't exactly see the drift of it until Touch pointed out that every self-respecting dog in Winnipeg went in for it and that it was not well to be out of the push. Blizzard then strove to excel at it. His long legs and lean body placed him on equality in the sled with the dogs which appeared at bench shows and showed their aristocratic teeth at him as they passed Touch and him on the street. "You're a better dog than any of 'em, Blizz," said Touch as he unharnessed him one night after Blizzard had borne him from the center of the city to the little shack on the prairie. "And we'll show 'em someday. You may not be much on the looks, but you got the heart. Those small kids can laugh at you, but if we get the chance, we'll show 'em." And the chance came. In May 1894, the little prairie city of Winnipeg was agog with excitement. The meeting of the Manitoba Turf Association was on. Westerners, who are deprived of amusement in the way of theaters, excursions, etc., common to the East generally take their vacation in strong doses. Racing is in high favor, and business is practically suspended during a race meeting. Touch, who was then 12 years old, while laboriously reading the events announced on the flaming big posters of the Turf Association's spring meeting, placarded on Postage Avenue, saw an item which read dog race, 1/2 mile, purse $100 to first, $50 to second, best out of free heats. He looked down at Blizzard, who seemed to have an eye on his young master and the other on the poster, as if reading it, for Blizzard always tried to do what Touch did, and said, "What do you say, Blizz? Shall we try a turn at it?" Blizzard looked as if running a race before the people of the city was just what he had been waiting for. "All right then, Blizz," said Touch. "We'll show those dogs a thing or two." And he went off and made arrangements for a sulky that cost him a winter's savings. The making of dog sleighs and dog sulkies is one of the branches of a Winnipeg carriage building establishment, and the little sulky that finally met with Touch's approval was just suited to Blizzard. "With a new collar, I guess we'll be fixed, Blizz," said Touch, as he took him for a trial spin over the course of the Turf Association one afternoon, before he went for his papers. "I'm not going to drive you with reins from your nose the way the swells does. If you don't understand me now, you never will." And Blizzard wagged his tail. 'Twas the afternoon. The dog race had just been called from the judges' stand, and the gaily dressed ladies and their escorts in the grandstand returned to their places, and the crowd surging against the ropes surrounded the course gave voice to a cheer. The interest in the horse racing had been confined to the horse breeders, the gambling element, and that peculiar class that are to be found on every racetrack, who love a race they know not why. But in the dog race, everybody was interested. There were 19 entries. There was not a class or clique from the exclusive lieutenant governor's circle to the half-breed colony on the Hudson Bay Flats that was not represented in the contestants. And as the boys, in their strange little sulkies, paraded before the judges' stand to receive instructions, the cheers that went up were heartier than had been given for the winner of the Provincial Cup. Everybody almost knew Touch by sight, and as he and Blizzard trotted past the grandstand, there was a half-satirical, half-friendly cheer at the tatterdemalion newsboy and his mongrel-looking dog. But Touch and Blizzard heeded it not. Touch's whole attention was fixed on a dog, half staghound, half Eskimo, called Tiger, driven by the son of the lieutenant governor. A dog race has to be quickly started, or the dogs will fight, and when the 19 dogs, with their boy drivers, rushed in a confused mass before the judges' stand, there was a cry of "Go!" and they were off. Blizzard was in the center, and had got a fair start. At the quarter mile, he was third and was going steadily, when the one that was running second, a husky, that is, a native dog, which showed signs of flagging, turned as quick as thought and seized Blizzard by the throat. There was a confused heap of dogs, boys and sulkies, and the others rushed on. But Touch hauled Blizzard out of the melee, and they were just saved from being distanced. There were only 6 dogs in the second heat. Touch spoke long and earnestly to Blizzard in the interval about the evils of fighting, especially in a race, and when 2 dogs rushed at him in the second heat, as they were coming down the home stretch, Blizzard bounded forward and came in ahead of Tiger by 3 or 4 feet. The chorus that greeted the turn of affairs was deafening, but Blizzard, as he lapped the water that Touch held for him, wagged his tail and looked up into Touch's face as if to say that he understood matters and fighting was a thing for another day. There were only 4 dogs in the third heat. Now came the crucial test. Tiger had won the first heat and Blizzard the second, and as they started neck and neck, there was a silence throughout the onlookers that showed the interest that was being taken. The other 2 dogs were soon out of the running, and at the quarter mile, Blizzard was 5 yards behind. Tiger wins, roared the crowd. But Tiger's tongue was out, and his breath came thick and fast. Blizzard, said Touch, as he saw the whip come down on Tiger's back when they entered the home stretch, and Blizzard's nose was at Tiger's flank. Blizzard, I won't strike you. I won't do it to win the race, but... And he half rose in the sulky and screamed at the top of his voice, Blizz, Blizz, Blizz. And like an arrow from the bow, Blizzard darted forward until he was nose and nose with Tiger. They were only 100 yards from the wire, and the people in the grandstand were on their feet, yelling like maniacs. Tiger, blizzard, tiger, blizzard, came the cries. But once again could be heard amidst the uproar the boyish scream, blizz, blizz, blizz. And Touch could see the long red tongue of Tiger at his side as they dashed under the wire and won. If anybody goes to Winnipeg and asks the well-dressed, prosperous-looking boy behind the newsstand in the Clarendon Hotel how it is that he got started in business so young, he will probably point to an ugly-looking mongrel dog and say that he started me and we've been partners ever since. At least that is what he told me. Thank you for joining us today. Remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.